Wow. I
Did
didn't
you
see
like
that
that, Matty?
coming. Yeah, were you allowed to use that?
Yeah, I looked up public domain cartoons. So
Nice.
hopefully, and then the music is from the YouTube studio. I found one that sounded the crunchiest. Welcome everybody.
Dude,
This
I
is
love
Cartoon Crunch,
it.
boy, and so brought to you by the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club over there by Matty's head.
Yeah, over there.
Welcome. We're live
Hi.
tonight. So, as we've said before, like with the Superhero Slam segment, we're kind of chopping up our respective contents into their appropriate receptacles, if you will.
Hmm.
So the main show is like, any action movie, drama, sci-fi, or something that kind of fits in the general mainstream. Big release will probably just be Overly Critical Movie Club. Superhero Slam will be superhero oriented, obviously. And we had a bunch of animated releases this month. Feels like a bunch. Feels like there's a bunch all the time, honestly.
I feel like I've
Anyway,
been watching a lot.
Cartoon Crunch. Hey, Maddie, will you check and see if you have the right microphone selected? I have a feeling.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good?
That's good. Yeah, that sounds
All right.
good.
Jesus Christ.
Which one did it end up being?
Microphone array. Real tech. I don't know, man. I just had to unplug like everything.
Mm.
It doesn't
Yeah,
say webcam on it though, so I assume it's going to
yeah.
sound better.
It sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. Sometimes we gotta just go through these things.
Sorry, everybody.
Unfortunately. So to kick it off, we're gonna watch the Snake Eyes trailer. We'll jump right into it, and then after the trailer, I wanted to go over his origin a little bit for those out there who don't really know what the differences might be, or kind of where this seems like they're taking the character and everything. So, you ready for this, Matty Fitz?
Yes, do it.
Let's do it. Henry Golding, Snake Eyes Official 2021. I think there's copywritten music in here too, so it will be okay if we want to talk through it, because YouTube's been real tight about that kind of thing.
We can't help it. We're just watching a trailer. We ain't trying to make no monies off that.
They're jerks. Oh, see that part. Copyright music for sure. Hopefully, you don't ban us. That Blood Quantum episode got taken down. Damn it.
Really?
Yeah, because we had something in it. It's so hard to tell. Andrew Koji, baby. Warrior,
No.
baby. Watch your warrior. Make sure to watch your warrior. I'm guessing this is the new hard master there. What's her name? Summer Weaving?
Samara?
Samara Weaving.
But that is just the
Cute.
beginning.
Iconic mask. Cool looking dude. What's that stuff called? The I Ching?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright. So how familiar are you with like G.I. Joe lore? How big a fan are you?
Well, I played with G.I. Joes as a kid, and I watched the cartoon, and I always liked Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. What do I know about their histories and past? Nothing.
For sure. For sure. I would say I'm a G.I. Joe fan. I've read a good handful of the early Marvel comics that came out after the cartoon and obviously after the toy line. Had a ton of G.I. Joes, loved G.I. Joes for certain. But I always did like how it was just an array of colorful characters on both sides of the gamut. I loved the Dreadnoks and all the really eccentric, colorful characters that ended up coming about through the series. Like with most great toy lines, you just have an insane amount of what was I saying? Like an insane amount of characters.
Yeah.
Right now I'm pulling up Snake Eyes. So what I can tell you, from what I know so far, is that we have an Asian lead. Traditionally, Snake Eyes in the comics and the cartoons and stuff, the few times he was revealed, it was revealed that he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man guy. Nothing wrong with that, especially when it came out, like when you had the age of Van Damme and stuff like that. You had all these like American martial arts heroes and stuff, so it wasn't uncommon then. He was also horribly disfigured and didn't talk. His story is something like he's, a foreigner and he fell in with this ninja clan. I forgot their name right now. It's a really cool name. Hold on, I have the page pulled up. But you know, him and Storm Shadow were trained by the Hard Master at this ninja school, and they were like rivals and brothers at the same time. And then at some point within there, Snake Eyes became a badass American ninja fighting with the G.I. Joes, and Storm Shadow joined up with Cobra. We can go more into it if you'd like. But basically, it's different in that so far what we know, you know, it's an Asian male lead. He's talking. There's nothing to point necessarily to any disfigurement or how some of the dynamics.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then how some of the dynamics of the what was I going to say?
But let's be realistic. You're not going to mess up that Henry Golding face. I mean, it's just too beautiful.
He was in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
I never actually seen that. Heard
it's good.
Did you see that one? It's good.
Yeah, I did see it. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a romantic comedy, dude. Like, it doesn't break the mold for romantic comedies. What it did is just show us an Asian romantic comedy, which there aren't a full Asian cast, which there aren't. I'm sure too many American-made versions of such a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you know, a lot of fanboys online are pretty upset by it. They're like, trash, worst shit ever, gonna be as bad as the other ones. I was a fan of the last G.I. Joe movies. They're not great, you know.
I like the second one.
Yeah, it was fun, you know. I'm not ever gonna say anything I like is bad, you know. I understand from, you know, a technical perspective or a cinephile perspective, certain things not being up to a certain quality. Totally get it. But I liked those movies. Even with Channing Tatum, I was like, whatever, you know, G.I. Joe's fun. So it looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like it's take itself a little seriously. Obviously, to kick off the new franchise of G.I. Joe films, hopefully. I'm sure that's what they're hoping. And then that costume. I think the costume from the previous movies, the two different costumes in the previous movies were amazing. And this one, I'm kind of meh about it. What do you think of the costume?
I mean, I just saw the helmet. I don't really know. I mean,
oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I want to see. I mean, maybe they showed it. I just didn't notice it. So
they showed a few dark parts of it actually. Yeah, your feed is not as flooded with G.I. Joe classifieds and like G.I. Joe news as mine is.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a fan. You know, I'm an action figure collector. Case in point, there's the boy right there.
Dude, I'm just watching this movie for Andrew Koji and the fact that it's got ninjas in it.
Yeah, Andrew Koji from Warrior, like I mentioned, he plays Storm Shadow. What a great cast, you know. Like, for those of you who watch Warrior, you know he plays this, like, very, you know, I will say flawed but very noble kind of character, good guy character in a lot of ways. But in this one, we get to see the conflict between these two. You know, I think changing Snake Eyes' race is not that big a deal, and it won't take away from the story as much. There was that dynamic there that he was like a gaijin and he'll never know the true way or whatever, but you know, I bet they'll just play it up like he was raised in America and Storm Shadow was raised in the clan, that kind of thing. I think, you know, it's really, I think it's a good thing for them to kind of rethink a popular hero like Snake Eyes and have the opportunity to kind of redefine him and get more Asian actors up there. I think that's the most important thing with this one.
Agreed. Stop Asian hate.
Yeah, for sure. Snake Eyes is the bomb character. But the suit, I was trying to find a pic of the costume.
Nothing stood out to me that I was like, ugh. I was like, oh, he doesn't really wear the costume that much, or it's just too much action for me to really see. I was like, oh, the helmet looks all right.
Here, we'll do a compare and contrast real quick.
Oh, he's got photos. Stefan's got things to say.
I want to show you some things here.
I'm ready to see some things.
Go ahead and look at this photo here. I believe this is the Snake Eyes costume for this movie. I think it looks pretty cool. But let me show you the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra costume. And then I'll show you the other one costume.
Retaliation, or is that what it's called?
Whatever the fuck it was. I think Rise of Cobra was the first one.
JGL playing Cobra the Commander. That was I thought that was pretty interesting. I bet he's a G.I. Joe fan. He
That
just
was a
like,
wacky fever dream of a moment there.
I remember coming out of the theater on that first one and being like, all right, this is kind of what I expect from a movie that's based off a toy line and a cartoon.
Yeah, and Ray Park did Snake Eyes for I think both those movies of
Yeah.
Darth Maul fame, folks. Sorry, it's taking me a second.
I
'Cause
don't know. Did
can't.
he do that? I want. He might have done the second one. I don't remember. I thought they.
It
But
may have
doesn't
been
doesn't
just the second one, honestly.
doesn't that second one though? They have a Snake Eyes Storm Shadow backstory, right? Like it's like two kids and they fight in a
Oh
little.
yeah, the second
Yeah.
one is great for that because they focused so much on the ninja stuff. So this is kind of a tiny picture, but this
From
was
Rise of Cobra.
the costume from Rise of Cobra.
Okay.
Okay, let me just check the other one. Retaliation, that's what it was. And Retaliation, I thought was the best.
Yeah, I thought
Version.
I had a fun time watching that one. I think I came out of that one saying maybe more Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow,
Yeah,
but
just keep
but there
them
was
coming.
quite a bit of that too.
Yeah,
I kind of want to rewatch that. Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
I can't find a decent pick
Just throw one up there. We
of
know.
that one. I know I'm like taking forever. The first one, okay, I remember the one in Retaliation, the picture I have up now that you can't really see is they did like a molded rubber face mask for that.
Hmm.
And then in the second one, they got it better. Sorry, I know I'm taking up a whole bunch of time just trying to find the shit. But, yeah, we'll just, I think it's this one. Hang tight, folks. Sorry, I'm such a dee 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 dee. Okay, this one I believe is the Retaliation suit, which was everything was a little bit more dialed in. I think I like how tactical it looked, but it was also very ninja-y, knowing that it was Ray Park. Anyway, that was my favorite one, but the new costume doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah, I think it looks fine.
Yeah, so anywho, I was supposed to put
Maybe
that up
he'll get
beforehand.
maybe that's just maybe that's just a early costume and he gets a full on GI Joe upgrade at some point.
And there'll definitely be, this is like a part of the Hasbro verse, and they're do Transformers, and they own Power Rangers now, so they're going to try and open that
GI Joe
up,
Transformers Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
I'll watch that shit.
There was people suspecting in the Bumblebee movie that John Cena's character was like tied to like an elite unit or something, the GI Joe or somehow, and I thought that would be kind of cool. It would be cool to see John Cena maybe do Duke or somebody.
Speaking of Bumblebee, it was just announced he's going to be making a vampire flick for Netflix.
Who's that?
The director of Bumblebee.
Oh, okay. Nice. Got another.
You love that claw.
Delicious. Anyway, so that was our reaction to the Snake Eyes trailer. I hope everybody enjoyed it out there. Let us know what you
Looks
think
fun. Can't wait.
of Snake Eyes in the comments or whatever on the group. We love ya. Let's see, what else do we got next? Let's talk some Love, Death, and Robots Season 2
Lord.
review.
No, I don't want to. It was trash.
All right, I agree. So, breaking news, Ld&R trash. Hold on, let me make a banner. It deserves this. Trash. Love, Death, and Robots. Okay, I'm sure there's some of you out there watching this episode and are like, oh, I really like those. They're really, crazy and weird and, whatever.
They weren't that crazy or weird.
They weren't that crazy or weird. I'm just trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Some of them.
All right.
But I just have to say right off the bat that I feel like the writing is lazy and it's spiteful towards storytelling. I was going to say like spiteful towards humanity, but I think that's obvious. But it's like spiteful towards its means to get the message to you.
What's upsetting about what you're saying is that John Scalzi, a great sci-fi writer, wrote I think the first episode with like the vacuum cleaner that takes on the lady.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite writers, Joe R. Lansdale, wrote The Tall Grass. And that's
Yeah.
really upsetting because I read The Old Man's War, which is John Scalzi's
Mm-hmm.
book, where it's basically kind of like a weird Avatar, where he puts old people's bodies in younger alien hybrids
Uh-huh.
bodies, and they have to, like, because they don't want to waste the youth in their minds, so they want to recruit old people to go fight wars, but they
Hmm.
give them these new bodies, and it's like how if you were an 80-year-old man and you got a brand new like 30 something year old super enhanced body, how you would react.
Yeah.
And
There
that
was
book is
nothing like
great.
that in this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like this is the best thing. I'm sure it's out of a short story collection, and they're like, "Hey, you got anything?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Sure, you can use this one."
I feel
And
like I feel like the
it.
first
I'm just saying, if that's an original story he wrote for this, Jesus.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like the first season was like kind of interesting, kind of novel. It had that whole thing behind it, like it was kind of like heavy metal, or it was going to show nudity and violence and stuff like that. But even before, by the end of that season, I felt like it was really forced just to get some of that stuff on screen and animated. And then the second season, I just felt like was every one of them was like super forced, like that vacuum monster shit didn't really make any sense that they were. I don't know. I just didn't like the premise setup that it like immediately was an evil robot or whatever. And I guess they're trying to make some
Oh,
commentary on customer service and automated shit.
yeah. I honestly thought they were all too short to even get me
Yeah.
involved in anything that was happening. It's like by the time I was like, okay, I wonder where this is gonna go. It's like it's over. On to the next one. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. And then that
Like,
whole bullshit with the whales and like they introduce like an emotional story for this one character, and then by the end of it it's like, oh, his brother just he didn't die while he was trying to hang out with his super brother. It was just like, like the stories from beginning to end, they didn't seem to have like any kind of coherent theme to play off of or message to relay. It was just like, in order to get us to see these stupid colorful whales, I what is thinking, I feel like it's masturbatory nonsense. The whole thing, it was just like
yeah.
just doing it for the sake of doing it. Let's make it more violent, let's make it more perplexing, let's try and make it as dark as possible.
Yeah.
Trash.
I mean, they're like, so I'm just going to talk about the ones I did like, um,
Yeah.
real quick. So I think like the tall grass was cool, and I think if it was in between some of the like, if there were some good like 28 to 30 minute episodes that were like heavy story, I
Right.
think it would have been nice to intersplice some of these smaller stories to be like, hey, here's like a, that last one was pretty intense. It was pretty like bloody, sex heavy, had a lot of like intense themes in it. So here's a little like, just little creech feech.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be cool if that was in a better anthology of stuff. Like, oh,
Yeah.
here's a random little one. And like, what did that really have to? I don't really think it had anything to do with robots. I mean, I guess about
There was
death.
hardly any robot stuff in it. Like I
Yeah.
was
And I
saying,
was
that
like,
first story was like a malfunctioning robot, and then later there's that Michael B. Jordan one about a malfunctioning robot. It was
yeah,
like they were so bankrupt for ideas for each one of these
dude,
things. It was such a pain to get through. I did like the Christmas one a little bit. I thought was
I
cool,
did
but then
like
I was
that.
just like,
What did it
okay,
have to do with love, death, and robots?
yeah, I
I
guess
mean, that
had love
they're
maybe.
because they're nice kids for Christmas.
Yeah, and I
I
wonder
mean,
what would happen if we were bad kids or something. It's like, I think I agree with you. They should have maybe had a few shorter ones and a few longer ones that were more fleshed.
well, that's like the other one you liked. I thought the creature was cool in it. Spoilers. I thought that was really cool, kind of terrifying looking. Honestly, it was like probably one of the most disturbing things that happened in the
Yeah,
whole. I was like, dang, this wasn't even like the bloodiest one or anything. It's just the scary, like pretty creepy. But like, yeah, I just wish there were a couple like I don't know, just like off the top of my head, maybe the one where the guy's like the hunter, the guy they call Snow or whatever, who's like the
uh-huh.
bounty hunter dude. Like
Oh
that seems
right.
like that could have been a much longer, a slightly more in depth story that I was kind of like, oh, I'm here for
So
this.
let's just run
Let's
down the
see what's going
list.
on.
Let's
Okay.
just run down the list real quick. Automated customer service, trash or pass? Trash or
Oh,
gas?
trash.
They're
That's
looking
such like I even hated the animation of it. I thought the humans looked weird, and
yeah.
I
I
just, I didn't think it was a good style.
I appreciate going to that weird angle, but it's like it was weird. Like a commercial is disturbing to keep it stuck in your mind. You know, like
I,
those Kroger commercials currently. Low, low,
I just
low. That shit. Anyway, go ahead.
just knowing the writer of that, it's like
Yeah,
really like this is the story you chose. I'm
yeah.
sure this guy has. I've read a couple of his things. He's a great writer. He has great ideas.
Yeah.
And you
I
want to complain about customer service and how robots are going to take over.
it
Great.
was
I'm
just
never going to see any of that shit in my lifetime. Who cares? Move on.
it was so forced to try and make some kind of commentary towards something which I couldn't really discern, but more they were more concerned about how they're gonna like destroy stuff with expensive animation. You know. All right, so that one's trash for sure. How about Ice, the two brothers running the whales, the
So
superpowers? Like, what the fuck?
I'll say I like the animation style. I thought it was
I like
pretty interesting looking. I
I
would
liked
definitely
that
follow
actually.
that artist on Instagram and
It was
look at
like
his
an
stuff.
acid trip.
Yeah, but I don't care about the story. I don't think it made any fucking sense. I
Yeah.
don't like his bro. It's just a. I don't know. It's just lame. It's
Yeah.
just a
So
lame
trash,
story.
or what should we do? Trash or
I'm gonna say
pass?
trash.
Trash.
You got to have a story too. Love the art though.
And then this Pop Squad one, this is the one that people are comparing to like Blade Runner esque
Oh,
vibe to it. But this one, let
I
me just say, this like it starts off. I'm sure there was a point to this or like some message there that I might have missed, but it starts off with like this white future detective blasting like little brown kids
yeah.
at this thing, and I'm like, okay, how are they gonna dig themselves out of this one? Thinking that there's some kind of like twist here or some kind of commentary that will be impactful, especially in a day and age where we're seeing white cops blasting brown kids left and right. So it never really works itself out of that. It just focuses on this like disturbing. Was he an android? He was like a robot, right, or something.
I just thought he was a human.
He was like a disturbed guy
So in that
detective.
story, it's like like they've extended your life, so we don't have to have any more kids.
Yeah,
So
there's
we don't
overpopulation.
overpopulation is the whole concept behind that.
Yeah,
So he's not an android. He's just lived for like 200 years, and he's a human.
right.
And doesn't and looks like he's in his 40s. You
So
know.
we're seeing the first world problems of this white detective coping with blasting
Well,
brown
it's
children
just.
on the regular.
I mean, you've seen this story before. It's like
Yeah.
Elysium. It's most sci-fi stories
Yeah.
that have come out. It's just like
Class.
the class, the ultra rich are like, oh, poor people are having kids because, well, they just want to have kids. It's just
Yeah.
gonna like we've been having kids for a very
Yeah.
long time now, and it's not
Yeah.
gonna stop. It's
And
just
and I realize there's this problem of overpopulation that people like we're not really facing it yet, but I think we're starting to get an idea and some people are afraid of it.
yeah. Well, let's
But
go to the moon. Let's go to
yeah,
Mars. Make
but
me a
like
story about going to a different planet. I don't care about staying on Earth.
right. But that yeah, the handling of this idea again is like there's this real spiteful kind of like bitter sensibility to the writing here, and it's like people trying to be Chuck Palahniuk or like Fight Club or whatever. Like he had really poignant points to make about humanity in his books, I think. But I think people take that like, oh, you know, like just be edgy, just be dark and put the mirror to humanity's face. But it's like not really, you know, it's a very shallow interpretation. And that really got me with this one. Trash.
Trash. I agree. I thought it was the
Trash.
lamest. It
Pop
was one of
Squad.
the it was one of the ones that was like, oh, this could be something cool. And
Yeah.
then by the time
Yeah.
the reveal, like what he does, and then the woman, like what the I don't. You got to
Yeah.
explain how she knows where he is. You got to like get me into this world a little more before you can be like, we're gonna have a old fashioned showdown
Yeah.
at high noon. And it's like what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Trash.
Trash. All right, we got snow in the desert. This one had like a bounty hunter and some people chasing him, and a woman, some mysterious woman, comes and finds him, and there's some sex and some fighting. How'd you feel about this one? It looked like a video game straight up. I've played this shit
So
before.
I would totally play this game. I think it looks cooler than most games I've seen that are
Yeah.
coming out for the PS5 now. That I'm sure there's some cool stuff out there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it trash but I don't know if I would let it pass either. I don't really. I think if you were talking about Love, Death, and Robots as a concept, it hits all those marks.
Yeah.
Because it has robots, it has death, and it has love in it. And for me, I'm going to say it's a pass, even though I'm not that keen on
I will say I did not like it.
Yeah.
But I didn't also it wasn't the worst of the bunch. No. For real. All right, we have in the Tall Grass, the one we talked about. This is the train. This one had really good animation style.
Yeah.
Pretty simple concept. Tall Grass. You had some creatures up in there, supernatural. I enjoyed this one for what it was. This is the one that you told me that you like by the writer you mentioned.
Yeah, his name's Joe R. Lansdale. He wrote Cold in July, which is a really great movie with the guy who plays Dexter, Michael C. Hall. It's really cool, just thriller. I highly recommend it. Then he had, yes, it's like Lands, Lansdale, or maybe it might be just no D before the S. I have a book over here. Hold on.
Yeah, show it. I was gonna say go to your OK Google and just say the name.
It's Lansdale. There's no D before the S. Anyway, and then he had a show that was on the IFC called Happen Later, which is like his long-running book series. It's really cool. It's about like two guys who are in Vietnam together. One of them's just like this white hillbilly guy, but he's like, he's not like a racist hillbilly. His best friend's black and gay, but they live in like the deep South, and they like somehow always end up getting into these weird mysteries because they're just guys who do random jobs to like make ends meet. And they always stumble upon these like ridiculous like crime scenarios with these kind of over the top characters, but it just works because it's kind of pulpy, but they're so good. But that show is actually on Netflix, and it's got I can't remember the guy's name, but it's got Omar from The Wire in it. Yo, nice. Omar coming.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking on his name. But really cool show. I highly recommend the books. They're not the actors I would have chose for the roles, but it's really fun show. So he wrote this story, and I was really stoked because I didn't know which one it was. But then after I saw it, I was like, oh, this is probably his. He doesn't really write a lot of horror anymore. Early on he did. But he kind of dabbles in just like the macabre and just weird shit.
I love that word.
I do too. But yeah, I say that's a pass. I think it's a cool little short animated film. I don't know if it follows the Love, Death, and Robots scenario, but I still think it passes.
We have 2 passes.
Yeah. What's next?
Right. So All Through the House was the Christmas themed one with the really spooky looking monster. I will say that's a pass. I did enjoy that one, probably because of the Christmas nostalgia, and the animation was good. It felt kind of stop motion-y, that one.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought the creature was amazing. It was terrifying. Like, if that was coming down the chimney and I saw that, I would not act as well as those kids. I probably would have peed my pants and yelled for my mommy and poppy. But I loved it. Pass.
All right, we got a pass there, and then we had Life Hutch. This is the Michael B. Jordan thriller-esque has to fight a malfunctioning robot story. I also felt like this was trash. I really like this kid. I really like me some Michael B. Jordan. But I don't know. I think he's just trying to spread himself out a little bit and try different things. So kudos to him.
I will say I did think the animation was really good. Like, there were times I'm like, is this actually him just sitting there?
It felt like Dead Space.
Yeah, I thought the concept was kind of cool. I just, like you said, it's another malfunctioning robot. Like, you could have done anything else. We already did this. It's the first episode to introduce us, which when I was starting the series, I was like, all right, it's light, fluffy commentary on like, talking to robots and like how you just can't get to an actual person anymore and talk to them and try to figure out your problems. I was like, that's fine. It's light. And then it's like, then you come back around to this and I'm like, oh, so this robot's just bigger and a little more dangerous.
Right.
I just, trash. Is that the last one?
No, the last one was the Drowned Giant. And this one I felt to be so like maddeningly stupid in how smart it was trying to be.
Tim Miller did this one.
Who the fuck is that? Tim, is he the guy who directed those Zombieland movies?
No, he's the guy who did the first Deadpool movie. Those are 2 different directors.
Are they? Who are the I don't like this guy either. But who's the guys who wrote the Zombieland?
I don't know. It was Fletcher something. He did
Oh,
Venom.
okay, never mind. Um, yeah, that one. It was so pretentious and silly, and not silly in a good way. Just like, what are you trying to make me swallow? This whole thing just felt like you're
Yeah,
really trying to make this taste better than it does.
I think someone came in and be, what would it be like if a giant washed up on shore? Like, what would the thoughts be of something like that existing? And then it
Yeah.
just doesn't. What is it supposed to make us think about humanity? Because this thing's like rotting, and like our lives and how they're eventually going to end. I think like visually, like that, like having a giant washed up on the shore is a cool visual. Like if that was an illustration,
Agreed.
I would be like, yeah, I'll put that on my wall. That looks sick. What does that mean? Let me make my own. But like what I could imagine to make my own story around that was 10 times better than what was written and shown to me.
It was just.
I haven't really dwelled on it. I don't know what I would do furthermore, but I
Yeah.
might show other giants. Just saying. Maybe
Yeah.
have them come and talk to people and be like, we exist, or some kind of weird like something of reality blended with fairy tales. Like you could have done anything besides just like some, I don't know. I just didn't get what they were trying to say.
It was a
And
drummed
that's
up
Tom.
concept that was supposed to make us feel bittersweet about our existence or something, and it
Yeah.
turns out that it actually has no substance, no message. It's just a long, drawn out diatribe of this nobody interesting NPC character, and it's like somebody just used a mod and turned one of the NPCs big, and one of the other
Yeah.
NPCs started to wax poetic about it, and that's how useless an NPCs or the level of their. Anyway, I'm like thinking of Grand Theft Auto right now, but it was just like, what? Come on, Tim Miller. Oh, I hope you feel really good sipping your coffee every morning, knowing that you put out such a brilliant and beautiful bullshit trash.
I really think that like someone he saw an image of something like this somewhere and was like, wow, that's a cool image. And it is.
Ruined
Like
that concept.
yeah, it's just like the whole time I was like, so there's gonna be other giants, like it's gonna like kind of like blend this like what we consider reality with this like fairy tale kind of world. And I was like, that's cool. I'm down. How are they gonna are the giants gonna blame the humans for this death? Like I just wish they would have like made up something to get more into the
I'm still listening.
the world, you know. If any, like, I just hate the fact that they're like, yeah, this random event happened. It's real weird. See ya.
It just felt like that, like early, I would say, yeah, early 2000s kind of. I want to say, I know people are a lot of big fans of this movie, Big Fish.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't get it. I haven't seen it since, so maybe I missed something. But there was like this real around the 2000s, Garden State and stuff. I felt like there was this really like concerted effort to capture these moments of like change in a certain way. I kind of don't know what I'm getting at, but
it's a trash.
It's a trash. It felt like outdated. What's the word? Outdated.
I think if you have
sentiment.
Yeah. I think if you have the technology at your fingertips to make a really cool, like, and your concept is love, death, and robots, and this is what you think of, like just the death aspect, it's like, well, try. I mean, I guess there's probably some love in here too, because like, where's the robots? Like, it felt like everything was just trash season.
Trash season.
Trash season.
Trash season.
Would I watch a season 3? Sure. I'll sign. Like,
I would watch again if the lengths were at least. I was like thinking to myself, at least they're short, and then I was like, man, even then they're a little too long.
Dude, like it's like it's too long because it doesn't go anywhere. Like if it had a point, and I was like, oh wow, that made me consider this or think a little longer about something, and that's why I like the Tall Grass and the Christmas one, because I think they're that, and they're kind of like I was saying, I think some of them should have been longer, should have been your 28-minute, 30-minute mark. Yeah. And then you have a couple of like 8 to 12-minute ones, which could have been your Tall Grass, your the Christmas one. because then that way it kind of breaks up maybe some really heavy, like some William Gibson, Neil Stevenson, level sci-fi coolness.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, I just need a break, dude. And then I don't think I would have like dissected so much of like, well, does it check all the boxes for love, death, and robots? Like, I thought that was like the premise of the show, was to like show us cool sci-fi stories with robots, death, and love, and however you represent that. But you can't just show me, like, if the giant would have been like robotic, I'd be like, well, that's all right. You checked all your boxes, Tim Miller. But for me, it was like, oh, it's just a giant person. Okay, move on. Why did I stay up till 2 a.m. finishing this and not finishing Castlevania earlier? I don't know.
It feels like something like this probably takes a while to animate and conceptualize and put through the whole process or whatever. That I feel like the first season got people's interest peaked, and were like, okay, yeah, let's we want more. And so I think they rushed it. I think it was a total rush job this season. I could have waited longer for a better quality storytelling / writing. The best thing they had going for them was the animation, but even then it was kind of like almost too weird to enjoy.
I feel like these were like student projects.
And they would be some great students.
Yeah, no, I would give them passive
good
grades.
animation. For the most part, none of it really stuck out to me, especially in contrast to the first season. I would say that ice one where they're running and the whales and all that bullshit, that had a really distinct and very trippy style that I could see more.
I also thought
yeah, go ahead.
The giant one, I thought the other animation was just pretty awful compared to everything else that came before it, honestly. Well, I wish there was more, like, because I thought the Michael B. Jordan one was really well animated for like a real person. And then I thought the snow on the, whatever the hell the name of that episode's called, I thought that animation was really good. And then when you get to like, a giant washing up on shore and you're just supposed to have normal people, I just thought they were weird looking. I was like, I don't really think how anatomy works.
Yeah. You know what I think?
What? It's time to move on? That's what I think too.
I lost my banner. Rev Death and Robots is trash. And we're giving it enough time. That's what we think about it. We'll come back for season 3 if they have a season 3, but that's the 2 cents on that one. Trash. But, before we head out, I wanted to just give some love and some reverence for what I think is probably one of the best shows. I want to say one of the best shows since X, Y, or Z, but, we had Invincible was great. We had The Boys was great, or whatever. Not that this one matches up so much. But anyway, Castlevania, baby. Season 4 came out and concluded the tale that we have been locked in for the last 3 years, whatever. Since that first Castlevania season that just snuck its way into Netflix. Let's just start for a second by saying, wow.
Wow.
I just love it. I'll just go first real quick. I just love it. I thought it was great. I love the storytelling. I love the characters. I love the detail. I love the little bit of like kind of pseudo-historic stuff that bleeds in, the little chaos magic kind of stuff. It's very contemporary at times with its dialogue, but it's also very practiced. It's written by Warren Ellis. I know he's in hot water for some Me Too stuff. I don't support that.
I know. That's why we ain't getting no season 5, probably.
But I felt like it was a good conclusion to the whole tale, and there were some standout characters. It's what I thought Game of Thrones should have been, so to speak. I got more thoughts, but what do you think, Matty? How did you feel about Castlevania Season 4 / the whole tale?
So I watched the first season, and it was 4 episodes, and I was like, well, it could have used a little more, but you got to dip your toe in a little bit. Not everybody's, Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite games of all time. I loved it. I've played it multiple times. Yeah. So I was super stoked. I haven't played all the games. I've played a few on the DS, and they were fun. I'm not a huge Castlevania fan. I love the lore. I love what they're doing. I'm going to say what Andrew Bush from Superhero Stuff You Should Know said. I don't want to play as no human. I want to play as a vampire. And I agree. Alucard is so much more fun to play as. But that being said, season 1, I got halfway through season 2 and I lost interest. I think 4 episodes I made it. And I knew the
Wow.
4th season was coming, and you were chatting it up, and Stefan got excited. And one thing I've learned from watching Invincible is that I should listen to Stefan and
Yes, thank
revisit these
you.
things.
Not
so I
merely for
went
my own pleasure, but I'm an ambassador of all
so I
things
went
great.
back and I kind of just picked up where I left off at season 2, and I thought if it didn't make any sense, I'd rewatch the season.
Mhm.
And I don't know what happened. Everything clicked. I knew what was happening. I remember the characters. I was just like in it. And I was like, why the hell did I
Yeah.
stop watching this? And from what I've heard from coworkers is that where I stopped is where people were like, eh. And then it's like
Yeah.
that next episode is where like, okay, we're turning it
Yeah.
up to 11. Now and I fell in love with the show. I'm glad I got caught up in time for season 4. I'm glad I got season 4 out of the way. However, I wish it wasn't over because it's amazing. I never thought I got choked up at the end of season 4,
All right, I just want to
and
say
I want
I
to say
did
one quick.
hold
I
on.
want
I
to say
just
one
want
quick. Go.
to I was just going to say I promised a friend we wouldn't go too spoilery is all. So go
Okay,
ahead.
that's fine. So my roommate, she came home. I was watching her dog, and she sat down for the last 3 episodes of season 4 with me, and she was like, "Oh, am I going to know what's going on?" Because she is someone who kind of comes in and goes, "Hey, who's that?" And we go, "Shh." You're halfway through a movie. We do not backtrack at this point. If you want to rewatch on your own time, you can. I'm not going to put in I'm not going to put in 3 seasons and half a season's worth of work just to explain it all.
It is
I
work,
did.
folks.
I did explain it to her after the show
Remember
was
that.
over, kind of. But she also like looked at me towards the end of season 4, and she was like, "I'm getting a little choked up." I was like, "If you're getting a little choked up, don't look at me right now because I'm losing it." Yeah, I wasn't losing it, but I definitely didn't
You mean
think
this
that.
season 4?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
I didn't think I was as connected to the characters in a that kind of sense that I would like
Uh-huh.
emotionally hit me. I
Yeah.
just thought they were. I'm like, oh, they're cool characters,
Yeah.
But there were some characters that God damn it, I want to say stuff, but I apparently can't. There's some characters that are meant to be evil in it, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't want them to go the way they went.
Yeah. Well,
I was
that's
just
the
like,
thing.
why?
That's why I say like kind of reference Game of Thrones a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
because
very.
it built up to everybody's kind of on the edge. You don't really know where alliances are until that moment
Mhm.
when they're the most like important. And what I love is it's an ensemble kind of thing. They're telling the stories of a few different characters that are very interesting. Isaac, he's a forge master, magician guy. You have Hector, he was my favorite. He was a
Yeah.
forge master as well, who fell in with a vampire woman who is sisters with these other ones who are trying to make a ploy against Dracula and all this stuff. Dracula in the last few seasons gets okay. Well, we can spoil some. If you haven't seen the first 3 years, then that's your fault. But if I'm going to spare you a little bit for the season 4. But Dracula dies in the last few seasons, and so there's all these people trying to kind of fill that void. And you just have all these really great stories being told. But not only that, like 2 war analysis credits. Don't be doing what you're doing, mother
I don't
trucker.
know what he did, but don't do it.
I don't support that.
Yeah.
But I've been reading the guy's comics since forever, and it's really it's hard. You got to separate the artist from the art. People say it's very difficult to do sometimes. But anyway, the writing is very good, and not only because there's parts in this season in particular. There's one part. This is the only thing I'll say that might be kind of spoilery. Is there's a beginning of an episode where like we're actually sitting and considering what a demon who's held captive by one of these sorcerer forge masters is like feeling
Oh,
and
dude,
conceptualizing around his role within this whole thing. Like they're really sitting there and we're listening to how a demon feels, and I was like just astounded by how the storytelling got me there, and it goes throughout the whole series.
my
Ugh.
favorite my favorite part of that is like I
Love it.
think in an episode later it has that same demon, and he this other demon comes, he's like has this doll in his hand, and I don't know if
Yeah.
this is kind of a weird scene for me. I don't really know what this scene meant because it seems like this guy wasn't a good dude. It almost seems like he was kind of into little kids. I don't
Which
know.
character
When
was
that
that?
it's the demon where he's holding the little
Oh,
girl's
okay.
doll, and
Right.
he puts it down, and a demon like goes to hand him to him, and he says something like no, no, no.
Yeah,
And this
you're
demon
right.
is like, what the scene Stefan's talking about is great because he's like, well, we're night creatures. What we do is we kill, we eat meat, we eat
Yeah.
blood. And he's like, do you want a berry through the entire thing? And then he eats a berry and he's like,
Right.
memories. And you're like, oh wow, like they
Right.
used to be people and now they're these
It's
night creatures. It's such a cool. But the thing I love
yeah.
about the scene with the doll is like that demon recognizes that the other demon sees something in this and tries to hand it to him. He goes no, and the demon literally just like throws it down and goes and then just like walks off.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
all right, night creatures gonna be night creatures.
the show just has a way of like delivering on insanely great action sequences, like very good
I thought the
animation
animation was so good in season 4. For the fight scenes
yeah.
were so amazing.
It's like there's a kind of a new movement of more American made anime. That's why I was really well, it wasn't completely American made, but I liked Yasuke. It's a little rough, but I liked it. But anyway, this one has a really, just the writing and directing, or everybody behind it, has a really like great way of getting you into these super bloody, violent, great action sequences, but also like tugging at your heartstrings and like getting you to really think about what's going on with these types of characters. It's not just what it looks like on the surface, I guess, is what I'll say. It's very beautiful. It's tragic. It's epic. It's funny. This character, Saint Germain, he's really great. Look him up on Wikipedia. It's Bill Nye?
Yeah, he does the voice.
No way. I didn't know that. Oh my God. That's amazing. Saint Germain, Google that dude. It's a very interesting character within our history. Like this
Not
is
Bill Nye the science guy, but the actor Bill Nye
for all that
Underworld.
For all that despicable bullshit that Warren Ellis is doing up in those offices.
Were they in the Castlevania offices?
I fucking hope not, because this show is a treasure. It's beautiful. It's wonderful work of art. Watch that shit. Trevor Belmont. Who's your favorite character? Mine's Hector. This guy right here.
I think, what's the girl's, is it Cypher?
Sypha. Yeah.
I think she is awesome. Probably my favorite. I love how like naive she is, or like she's almost seems childlike at times, but she's also like she has so much power at the same time. I don't know. It's just her, and I thought her and Trevor's like love story was great. I just Alucard I thought was great too. I just like, dude, I don't know. I think I like fell in love with like every character in the show. Like
that's what I'm saying.
When certain turns happen, like it upset me. Like I want to spoil the shit out of like what I'm saying, but I can't. But
we'll come back at a later Cartoon Crunch, and
But one of my favorite scenes from season 4 was a final fight where they go up against some adversaries, and they're kind of beating the crap out of them. And I got those moments of like, oh my God, like one of them's gonna die. Like, oh God, who can we lose? Like, who am I okay with losing? Like I was having like a mental struggle. And then they come together as a team because they realize that this is the only way they can beat them. And it's just so well animated, and it's just like they use each other's strengths. And the thing I love is they don't talk. They know each other so well, and they went in this fight not like, I feel like when I was watching it, you could see them go in and be like, we got this. And then they realize, oh, wow, these like other vampire lords are like stronger than us and know all of our moves. But what they don't know is how we work as a team. And all of a sudden it just like, it clicks, and then it's just, they take them out so fast. And it's like, it was so cool, man. I just remember just like, I feel like my mouth wasn't open, but it would have been one of those scenes when people are like, my jaw dropped to the floor. It didn't do that. I was just like, I want to watch it again, but I think I'm just going to restart the series and probably.
I was like, I can rewatch this season again for sure, and like probably just go through the whole series. It's such a fun ride. Great characters. This is what I imagine like people who play JRPGs go through. You know what I mean? You have all these characters and all this magic, and like I really felt like I was on this journey with them, and it was dark, man. It was really fucked up at times, but like justice prevails, and they're just such great characters. Alucard is like a beautiful being, you know what I mean? Like this dude just like there's like some of the shit he does. Anyway, I didn't want to spoil it, but so that's what we'll say for now, I guess. Out of 10 vampiric horror fantasies, what do you give this one?
10 out of 10, easy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I'd give it for the entire series. I do think season 2 starts off a little slow, but I think like the latter part of season 2, 3, and then to 4 is just great television.
Yeah.
Like kind of like I will
agree.
say the same thing with Invincible. Even if you're not into cartoons, you're missing great stories.
Yeah.
And even if you're not into
Yes.
vampires or superheroes, like there are human tales that are being told that you can relate to. They just happen to feature night creatures and cool shit that I like.
Cool shit that we like. I say the exact same thing. 10 out of 10. Season 4 was great. The entire series was great. I realize I just want to say for those of you who like cracked it open and like felt like bored by like maybe the first going into the second season, it takes a second for sure. But I think this is one of those things that pays off like The Wire, like it didn't go as extensive as that almost, maybe. Yeah, like 4 seasons, yeah. But not the same thing at all. But but definitely worth your time. And I don't know, I will gush about it. I'm sad that this was like the end of the arc. I suspect / one of our members on the group said that there's going to be a spinoff, so I'll have to check.
Yeah, there's apparently 2.
Oh, tight. All right, cool.
So
And
one of them, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like with the games, we have the different Belmonts and stuff like that. It'd be cool to like jump through time a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm game. Go ahead.
I think there's 2 they're thinking about, maybe just one, but I know one of them takes place in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I, without spoiling anything, because we can't, I will not tell you any more about who would be in that.
Oh shit!
Stefan and I will discuss. We'll discuss after the live stream is over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, from here on out, we went easy on you for those who haven't finished season 4, who are still watching it or whatever, and friends out there who I wanted to not to spoil it for. But the next time we talk about Castlevania, it's going to be spoilerific. And even though it's over, we're going to be talking about it again. So,
yeah, I
don't know. That's all I have to say about it. But that was fun. I loved that show. 10 out of 10. What else do we got? I think we got a nice show there.
Yeah, I agree.
There's lots to talk about. Next time we come back with Cartoon Crunch, we're going to jump back into Bad Batch and catch up with them. We just had episode 3 this last week. It was very good. Definitely worth talking about. But we'll get into it again at a later time.
We'll probably have 2 by the time next time we jump into it.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll be good.
So, essentially, it's the same show, but it's a different flavor. I'll try and get it out to the audience a little sooner, so they have an idea of how much we're jumping around. But it's like we're kind of experimenting with a lot of stuff, and I don't know, it's fun.
I think it's easier to keep it more like we can talk about cartoons instead of being like, our plan was not to throw in the Snake Eyes trailer, but it's G.I. Joe. It's based off a cartoon, man, and toys. So it works. Just go with it, people.
I was listening to Trailer Park Boys Park After Dark podcast.
Yeah.
And I know they're famous Trailer Park Boys or whatever, but they kind of just like take like news items of the day or whatever, and like weird stuff that they find in the news, like Florida man stories and shit like that. And those guys are so funny. I just, this is part recommendation, part, like we're out here just doing this thing. And I like the chit chat, baby. I like sitting around chit chatting. I like listening.
I was ready to spoil up season 4, dude.
I know we're gonna get deeper into things, but there's a lot of ideas on the table right now, and I'm liking trying all this different stuff out. The Cartoon Crunch, because there's all these cartoons that need attention, like specific attention, and if that's not your bag, then you can watch the next video over. And thank you for watching the next video over. But we got Superhero Slam coming. What superhero stuff? We were gonna do Jupiter's Legacy, but how do you feel about Jupiter's Legacy? We'll just go run through a few random things here at the end.
I kind of lost interest in it. I'll finish it for Superhero Slam. I just with Castlevania coming out, I've been playing Resident Evil Village. There's just a lot of time, and like video games, like dude, I'll sit down and be like, I'm gonna play an hour, and then it's 3 hours later, and I'm like, God damn it, I still gotta watch some Castlevania tonight. And I just chose to watch Castlevania because I was more involved with it at that point. I think the storytelling's better. I think I'm definitely more in love with the characters in Castlevania than I am with the Jupiter's Legacy, though there are characters I am interested to see how their stories progress. But overall, I'm just kind of like, I would tell the people to watch Invincible if you're trying to decide between the two.
Oh,
If you need a new superhero thing to watch and Castlevania isn't your bag, Invincible is a better version of what I think Jupiter's Legacy is trying to do, and
yeah.
doing it all right ish.
Yeah, yeah. I'll finish it too. It hasn't hooked me yet, but that's
But then we got
really,
Army of the Dead coming out, and like,
yeah. So
who's got
I guess
time for all this?
yeah, what I'm trying to say is like the shows, the logos will fluctuate as the entertainment fluctuates. If there's more, obviously like horror releases or sci-fi releases, we're gonna be on that.
What we want you
But
to be able to do is, if you're super into cartoons, you watch the Cartoon Crunch.
yeah,
If you're more into superheroes, you watch the
which I
Superhero
love
Slam.
because there's just like it's kind of our job to watch the shit that's coming out. And we took a hit for you with Love, Death, and Robots. We knew that people out there would want to know. Hopefully, if you're like our taste, trust us. You can use that time more valuably on some other series. And let us know. Give us recommendations for what we should be watching that we're not talking about. But yeah, and making new logos is fun.
Someone did post a good question on the Ocha Movie Club Facebook page. What's your favorite time travel movies?
Oh yeah, here, let's just go to that. Like, we can hang on here for a little minute if you're not in any rush.
I just got to use the bathroom. Can I go do that real quick?
Yeah, go pee real quick. I'll pull up the group page.
I'm gonna mute this so I don't make a lot of noise.
So Facebook, YouTube has all these rules and regulations about copywritten material and other websites and things. So I got to be careful. So hopefully it doesn't, I don't know, make my showing of Facebook illegal somehow. I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, so here we're at the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club page. 314 members. Thank you all new members. I don't quite know how to see everybody's name. But, because some groups I see you can like copy paste thank you or welcome new members and shit. And I have no idea how they managed to find a copy and pastable list of everybody's name. Anyway, that's not important. Oh, we're already there. Oh, I'm trigger happy. Anyway. Yeah. Our buddy Quinn, my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future. Hell yeah. What's everybody's favorite time travel movie? He says. And I hadn't yet answered. I was doing some other stuff, but let's check out some of these comments. We'll wait till Matty gets back to get into it. I'll think about that. I think Time Crimes, somebody said Time Crimes was great. That's Nacho Vigalondo. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he did Time Crimes. He did a movie called Extraterrestrial. He did a movie with Anne Hathaway. It's kind of like a kaiju movie about alcoholism. Forgot what it was called.
I'm back.
Maddie's back. All right, we got time travel movies here. Quinn, our buddy Quinn, as I mentioned. So we have my buddy Bud. Don't sue me if your name turns up on this program. Sorry, but we're doing it. Bud, good buddy of mine, really great artist. I'll have to pull up his Instagram for everybody. Had somebody, he's awesome video guy. He said, I love time travel stories too. Dark, I have heard Dark is good. I've been skirting around that one for a while just because it seemed bland to the title. I don't know. He said Time Crimes, like I just mentioned.
It's good.
Steins Gate is an anime.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Cool. Have to check that out. We've got Sarah HL, friend of mine, worked with her, great person, tattooed her actually. I tattooed a bar fight Homer on her. He's all beat up with a knife in his back. She said, a recent fave time travel genre, probably my favorite, Predestination.
I know, but I haven't synced it.
Yeah, I like that Ethan Hawke's. He's a good one. Of course, Terminator, great.
Yeah.
Time Cop, Kate, she would. Tamra, Safety Not Guaranteed is wonderful. Kung Fury is, I guess, yeah, that's a time travel movie. You know what I've been listening to a lot off of that soundtrack is the David Hasselhoff True Survivor.
I haven't seen it.
Next time you need a boost, just Google or go on YouTube and watch that music video. True Survivor is the best. Have you seen Kung Fury?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's all right. That's fun. Terminator, Palm Springs, she mentioned. You mentioned Palm Springs as well, I believe.
It's only because she mentioned it, and then I said, oh, yeah, I do like that one too.
Bill and Ted's, of course. Hell yeah, I love Bill and Ted. I should have made a banner for this. Right now, if you're tuning in, this is best time travel movies, essentially. Matty said Terminator, Time Crimes, and Primer. Nice one.
Primer's cool. It's a little heady, but it's a good one.
What's that guy's name? Dag Nabbit. He's got a cool sounding name. Anyway, Primer, look it up. Palm Springs, you said. Deadpool 2, Ian said. Okay, all right. Bender's Big Score. All right, I like those Futurama movies. They're a little heady as well. Looper. I like Isaac, but Looper. I get it. Whatever. Back to the Future. I would say also, what is that one movie that we like? That Benson Moorhead joint.
Synchronic?
The one before that. About the cult.
Endless?
Endless. That is a good, like, time travel movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also down here, which I thought was cool, from Collider, John Boyega to return for Attack the Block 2 with writer-director Joe Cornish.
About time. I've waited patiently.
Yeah.
And I'll wait longer.
Man, this boy deserves some stuff. To all you Pacific Rim uprising haters, the man needs to eat. And he's doing a good job.
I need him to finish up Pacific Rim 3.
Yeah. What else do we got in the news? Mary Elizabeth Winstead is an assassin who has 24 hours to live in Netflix action thriller Kate. We'll cover that for sure. Thanks for the tag. Yeah, when is that trailer dropping?
That was my tag because we both love her.
Yeah. So kick ass, man. That's what we have going on for the week. That was the Facebook group. If you're not a part of it, come join it. If you're on Facebook like everybody else, come chit-chat with us outside of the show. Also, if you want to chat with us during the show, just go to streamyard.com/Facebook. It's Matty's bedtime. We got to tuck him in. So we'll just wrap up on that. Thank you for sticking around, folks. This is Cartoon Crunch, presented by the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club. We'll be back with some superhero stuff on the Slam, and we'll be back with some of that other movie news stuff we just ran
Army
over.
of the Dead. We'll be reviewing soon, too.
Army of the Dead's coming out. What else is coming out, Matty? Do you know?
I don't know. Something. Yeah. I thought there was something else that's up there next. I don't remember. It's getting ready for all that stuff to start happening, though. I know Quiet Place 2's dropping in theaters soon. I think the 28th or something of this month, I heard. So I might go out to the theater and see that because I love the first one.
Folks, one thing I'm super excited about is the movie theaters opening up. I can't wait to go to my first movie, and also, trading our in-theater experiences. And, I thought that was always fun when we would do it on Superhouse and have, there's some dude whose nose was whistling too loud or something.
Because he fell asleep.
Yeah. But I'm very excited to get back to the movie theaters. This is very exciting. And lots of some stuff coming out. We're getting to that part of the year where there's going to start being more exciting films coming out, summer releases and whatnot, and things are opening up. So this is a very good time. Expect some fun things from the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club. Join our Facebook group. It's down below here. Follow this link. Memorize it with your eyes and then type it into the thing. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. If you'd like to help the channel grow and you're in a position to do so, go ahead and hit up our Patreon and check out the incentives we have there on our multiple tiers. Anything always helps. So if you like what we're doing, share, like, whatever you want to do for support. We sure like having a good time over here.
We do.
And we're just getting started, folks. There's our Instagrams. Look them up. I don't think I need to read them off. go ahead, and they say keep things on screen so you can read it at least 3 times a piece. Boom. There we are at Twitter as well. Mostly you'll find our release schedule there and on Instagram. I'm trying to be less lazy and get on things a little bit earlier, sooner, to give you guys a heads up for when episodes are coming out. So I'll try and do better, I promise. We also have, dagnabbit, merch at TeePublic. Go ahead and check out some of our t-shirt designs. More t-shirt designs coming. I'm going to do that in Filoni we trust, or whatever.
Yeah.
In Filoni I trust. I just got to get on it. Lots to do. Thanks for hanging in there with us, folks. We got a Threadless shop. There's a Threadless link. There's a couple alt designs that you can't get at the TeePublic site. T-shirts as well. Expect to see more T-shirts that are of ours on me. It's about time I bought one of our own.
Same.
And also, thank you to our patron, Daniel Crozier, who is a junior producer on our $3 tier. Go ahead and check out our Patreon to see the incentives and tiers. I'm going to update that soon as well. I've been lazy, but I feel like I'm snapping out of it. We also have our first edition of Overly Critical Classics, the Crow Deep Dive. Go ahead and check that out. There's some cool behind-the-scenes stuff you may not have known about in the Crow. More to come from the Overly Critical Classics line. Like I said, lazy. If you'd like to contact us for any reason, please go to our Gmail account or send us correspondence through Gmail. We'll be there waiting for your messages, and we love you. And that's it for us. I didn't do a new outro like I did a new intro, so I'm just going to play a new intro again because it's great.
Yeah.
So this is Wolfie signing off of the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club.
This is Matty. Bye-bye.
And this is Cartoon Crunch. Check you later.